Many people are unaware nowadays that claims that there were many sun gods that were born of a virgin and crucified and rose again on the third day, and all the other supposed similarities with that of Jesus, are recorded nowhere in ancient history. For example, if I were to compile a list of every single text written about Horus in ancient times, every mention of him in Egyptian history or hieroglyphs, I would find no mention of these claims. Yet, many of us swear that they must be true because we have been told that they are true. There have been many movies, and speakers, and teachers, all telling us that these things are true. Wouldn't it be very easy to prove them wrong or right? All you would have to do is simply look it up. The same principle is repeated with other gods in the movie Zeitgeist. In the reference section of that movie's website, it is remarkable that they offered not one single primary source to prove their claims about these similarities. To put it simply, believing the Zeitgeist version of history is a belief based on faith, not on historical scientific fact. If you believe that you can find the places in the ancient text that confirm Zeitgeist's claims, this is your chance to cash in. Go to the website on your screen and take the Zeitgeist Challenge.
Over the fucking head with a bat. Alright? I'm getting tired of this shit. I'm gonna smack you over the fucking head with a bat. Alright? I'm getting tired of this shit.
Hello. King for Mayor here. This is a TZM challenge. It's not an RVE challenge. It's not a TVP challenge. This is specifically a TZM challenge, although other groups are more than welcome to take the challenge and answer the challenge as well. Completely legit. This is open to everybody, but it's specifically a challenge for the Zeitgeist Movement. So it seems that every time I talk about the Zeitgeist Movement, or ask a question about the Zeitgeist Movement, I get these attackers that come on my page and leave comments, nasty comments. You don't know what you're talking about, or flippant remarks like, "Well, you just have to watch the movies, man," or what's another one? Oh, this is where my challenge comes from. The one I get most often is that decisions are arrived at by the scientific, method. So, given that the scientific method is a method used to arrive at a theory, okay, this is all I want from you guys is a theory and an explanation of the scientific method, or how you use the scientific method to come to this theory or conclusion.
Smack you over the fucking head with a bat. Alright? I'm getting tired of this shit. I'm gonna smack you over the fucking head with a bat. Alright? I'm getting tired of this shit.
On Z-Day, Zeitgeist cult members tried to drum up support for their movement by showing their films and promoting their bizarre utopian ideology, called the Venus Project. On the occasion of Z-Day, I have a challenge for the Zeitgeisters in the audience. This is a book entitled Seeing Like a State: How Certain Schemes to Improve the Human Condition Have Failed. It was written in 1998 by Professor James C. Scott, an anthropologist and historian. In Seeing Like a State, Scott analyzes the various failures of reform schemes, which he calls high modernism, that is to say, sweeping, top-down reorganizations of social and economic structures, based on the assumption that modern technology and/or the scientific method can and will result in the solving of most social, economic, and political problems. The thesis of Seeing Like a State is that these high modernist projects are deeply authoritarian and tend by their nature toward large-scale oppression, coercion, and violence.
I'm gonna smack you over the fucking head with a bat. Alright? I'm getting tired of this shit.
This is because when you proclaim that a high modernist scheme is the preferable vision for a society, you're making an assumption that a planned social order is superior to the natural, organic, and unplanned development of human institutions. Once you make that assumption, you're automatically deciding that those who don't share your belief that this new order is superior are, by definition, unfit to rule, and the only way to defend this new order is through large-scale force and violence. This is true, Scott says, regardless of whether the individual or group proposing the new social order explicitly advocates authoritarianism or violence. In other words, it does not matter whether the group claims to be peaceful or not. The tendency toward authoritarianism is inherent in the high modernist scheme by definition, regardless of the ideology used to justify it. Seeing Like a State does not mention the Venus Project, but I submit to you that the Venus Project is exactly the sort of high modernist scheme that Professor Scott describes in his book, which means that all of the defects inherent in high modernist projects are therefore true of the Venus Project and the Zeitgeist Movement. So, here's the challenge. If you think I'm wrong that the seeds of authoritarianism, violence, and coercion are inherent in the Zeitgeist ideology, read Seeing Like a State and explain to me, on the basis of the analysis contained in that book, why the Venus Project is either not a high modernist project, or why, if it is, it's different than the other examples that Professor Scott discusses. But the key here is that you have to read the book.
Smack you over the fucking head with a bat. Alright? I'm getting tired of this shit. I'm gonna smack you over the fucking head with a bat. Alright? I'm getting tired of this shit. I'm gonna smack you over the fucking head with a bat. Alright? I'm getting tired of this shit. I'm gonna smack you over the fucking head with a bat. Alright? I'm getting tired of this shit.